أهلا بحضراتكم. معاكم رضوى مديرة المبيعات في تيتش أوجن. احنا في تيتش أوجن بنقدم خدمات تعليمية متميزة، بنركز فيها على 4 محاور رئيسية: برامج التنمية المهنية المصممة خصيصا للمعلمين والقادة، بما في ذلك التطوير المهني لمعلمي اللغة العربية ومواد الهوية الوطنية، أكاديمية الذكاء الاصطناعي في مجالات تحليل البيانات والقيادة والتدريس، حلول تقنية وتعليمية مخصصة حسب احتياجات المؤسسة، دعم الاعتماد الأكاديمي سواء من هيئة تقويم التعليم والتدريب إيتك أو من جهات اعتماد دولية مثل جوجنيا، PSO، CIS. معانا النهاردة ميس خلود. ميس خلود is CBCI consultant and trainer, IBEN program leader with more than 20 years of experience in education in the Middle East and internationally. Hello, Miss Kholoud.
Hello, hello everyone. Thank you, Ms. Radwa. Thank you for your help and support. Hello
Thank you.
everyone.
Mute all. واي حد عنده سؤال في الاخر او يكتبه في الشات بوكس او يكتبه في الاخر وميس خلود هترد عليه.
Welcome everyone. أهلا وسهلا فيكم جميعا.
ويتناقش مع
And
ميس خلود.
sorry Radwa.
لو حد حابب ان هو يفتح الكاميرا يتناقش مع حضرتك في اي سؤال في اي حاجه يا ريت.
So we can have it towards the end because I'm going to keep all the questions and answer towards the end of the session. Whoever wants or willing to have any inquiry about the concept-based implementation in classroom, so you can write your questions throughout the sessions and postpone it till the end of the session, because I'm going to specify like 15 minutes for your questions and answers. Welcome everyone, and good afternoon, good evening. It depends on the country you're joining from. I'm glad to be here with you today, and thank you for the time to join and register in this session. I would like to thank Teach Ojen, represented all of the team, of course, and its director, Ms. Isra Osman, for giving me the opportunity to share my experience with you today here in this platform. And welcome everyone. Before we dive into the session of the missing piece in education and teaching for transfer, I'd like you to start by writing your name, role, country in the chat below. So we'd like to know where you're joining from. Sorry. So in the chat, please, if you can write your name, role, and country. And I'm going to see where are you joining from. No, it will not be in Arabic. Don't worry. It's all English. So please introduce yourself in the chat while I'm reading. Waiting for the rest. Just to introduce yourself, we'd like to see. Just write us your name, your role, and the country you're joining from, please. Thank you. So in the chat, thank you so much. Welcome. And I'm glad to see this diversity of educators from different countries with different perspective and of course from different roles. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Kholoud Madhoun. I'm from Jordan. I have been working in the field of education for more than 25 years. Among them 16 years as an IB educator in IB World School. Most of my experience has been in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but recently I moved to Cairo. So I have residency in Cairo, Amman, and Jordan. Cairo, Amman, and Riyadh. Um, Throughout my career, I served in various roles as IB educator, academic leader, MYP coordinator, CAS coordinator for the DP program. Currently, I am working as an independent educator with the International Baccalaureate Network, Educator Network, as an IBIN program leader for both the MYP and DP. And I'm also a certified concept-based trainer and consultant from Professional Learning and Lynn Erickson and Lewis Lanning Institute. Today we're going to spend between 45 minutes to an hour having a glimpse about the transfer and the conceptual teaching. Now, before we start, or I'd like to start with the topic of the session. We see that the topic is the missing piece in student learning and teaching for transfer, conceptual teaching. As educators, expert educators, we all maybe we have this question or questions in our mind that do we really teach for transfer? And we might also have like some questions related to students. Why do students cannot apply what they learn in different situation or context? Why students sometimes tend to forget what they learn? And how can we help students transfer and apply their learning to different situations? The issue is that, or the answer for this question is not because we don't teach. Educators spend hours maybe in preparing unit plans, and we do lots of effort in teaching. However, the problem is that maybe we focus on content, not concepts. So focusing on content do not help students to transfer. So the question is that how do we move students from knowing to understanding and ultimately transfer? And this is the power of concept-based teaching and learning that we will explore together today. So in this session, we're going to focus on the following. We need to understand what transfer, what makes knowledge transferable. And also we need to know why this conceptual learning matters today. And briefly, we cannot go, of course, in depth into the concept-based curriculum and instructions, but we'll give like a brief understanding of concept-based curriculum and instructions. Also, we can also we want to see what are concepts and generalizations and what is inductive teaching and how we can support development of students in conceptual thinking, and how can we learn more if you want to have more information about the conceptual teaching and learning. I don't know if we have, what's the issue of the red lines we see in the screen, Radwa? The
مع
lines we
حضرتك.
see. Yes, Radwa. I don't know why are those lines I see in the screen. Someone drew some lines. If you can stop this option.
Okay.
I see that audience can have options, so you can please stop it. Thank you so much. Sorry for this. The lines in the screen. Okay,
Okay.
let's start with the scenarios we have in front of us. We have two scenarios for Class A and Class B. Both teachers in those scenarios are talking about the water cycle. But we want to see, as teachers and educators, what's the difference? Although both are talking about the same topic, however, the question is what the students are asked to do with the content itself. In Class A, the water cycle, the students learn the stages, recall information, teachers provide the knowledge, and focus on specific examples. Then the teacher do the assessment of knowledge, if the students can remember. In the scenario, in the second class B, the students explore the relationship about the water cycle. They explain the thinking, they construct understanding, and they look for patterns beyond examples, and the teacher focuses on the assessment of understanding. Now, uh, which classroom is more likely to prepare students to use their learning beyond the lesson, and why? If you can write for us in the chat below, please, which classroom you feel that it is more engaging to students, and why? Uh, which one prepares students for life? Thank you. Thank you. Inductive teaching. Start with examples. Thank you so much, Muhammad. Class B. Thank you for your answers. Yes, because it's an application, because it's thinking. Yes. So thank you so much. So class B is the one we start. So in the class B, we see that students are directed to think, to create an understanding. We don't start by giving the understanding for students and tell them to recall the information. Why this? What's the reason that we need students to be thinkers and to understand and to apply, as you mentioned? Why this matter? Because the world has changed. We see we live in the world of technology, the world of AI. We see the globalization. We live in the age of knowledge growth and changing careers. So perhaps the most important thing is the complexity of the world we're living in. What do we expect from our students? What do we expect from this group of students? With this complexity, how can they wrestle in this world? How can they compete in this world if we'll provide them with information only? And the second question, it's what's the role of the teacher if students have access to hundreds of resources through the information? So the role of the teacher should change. The role of the schools should change. It's not which is basically we need to create thinkers. We need our students to be reflective and critical thinking. And if we'll focus only on giving them information, so we will not help students to compete in this world with this complexity they live in, because information without intellect is meaningless. Focus on content only, it will not take them, it will help them to develop. And this is the power of conceptual teaching as developed by Lynn Erickson and Louise Lanning. Sorry, but Radwa, if you can erase those red lines, if you can do this, I'll be grateful. Thank you so much. What you see in front of you on the slides is that the 2D curriculum versus the 3D curriculum. The 2D curriculum is basically the traditional curriculum. The one, if we teach traditional curriculum based on content, it's basically made of facts and skills. We as teachers teach facts and we provide skills for students. We tell them to do debates, present, and so on, all the skills we give to students. But this is very limited. Len Erickson added another layer to the curriculum design, which is the conceptual level. So facts and skills are still important for us. We're not saying that facts and skills are not significant or we need to cancel them from our teaching, but they are the foundation for students to understand the concepts, reach generalization and principles, as you see here in the diagram. So this is the 3D model that we need to follow as teachers, and we need to follow to help students reach the conceptual teaching and learning. Let's have more examples to see the difference between them. If we'll focus on the two-dimensional model only, which is the traditional and focus on the facts and skills. So by doing this, or we want to compare it, we say that the two-dimensional, it is an inch deep, mile wide. We become busy in covering the curriculum, more information. But this is factual knowledge that does not transfer because facts are locked in time, place, and situation. So when we teach the Egyptian civilization, for example, I teach history and focus on content only. These information are basically factual. In the three-dimensional model, where the layer of concepts has been added, facts and skills provide the foundation for understanding, and they are not the goal of our teaching. So concepts and generalization transfer, allowing the brain to make connection. So the two-dimensional model with facts and skill fails to meet the intellectual demands of the 21st century, while the three-dimensional develop the intellectual and handle the world of increasing complexity. Let's have more practical examples that will help you as educators to implement the conceptual teaching in your classes. And to do this, we'll draw on the work of Len Erickson and Louise Lanning, using the structure of knowledge and the structure of process. These two models, basically together, they form the conceptual model. The structure of process model is a complementary model developed by Louise Lanning. Both of them help students to understand conceptual or to build conceptual understanding. Let's have examples. If you teach history, social studies, math, sciences, so this structure is for you. Because basically the structure of knowledge is made or created for subjects that are very heavy in knowledge, like the social studies, history, math, and science. It's a bottom-up model where we start by the topic, and from the topic we draw the facts, which are the basic and the foundation for teaching. And from the topic, we draw on the concepts. We put the concepts in a statement of relationship, and this is what is known as generalization, or statement of inquiry in IB schools, or big understanding, whatever you want to name it. It doesn't matter, but it is the big understanding. Here in the CBCI or concept-based curriculum, we call it generalization. In IB schools, they call it statement of inquiry or the big understanding. Okay, so we put the concepts together to reach the statement and to reach the generalization or the principle. Let's have an example from a history topic. If your topic is global migration in the 21st century, so we draw concepts from the topic: migration, opportunity, poverty, conflict, survival, freedom. Then we put two or more of those concepts in a statement of a relationship to create an understanding, which is the generalization. One or more, it could be. So say that the student understand that political conflict, poverty, or natural disaster drive people to migrate in order to survive. Or we say migration may lead to new opportunities or greater freedom. Notice here that the concepts are underlined for you, and see, you can create more than one. But the most important thing when we create the understanding is that it should be age appropriate. Because as students grow in higher school, students need to have more sophisticated concepts that suit their age, and the opposite for the elementary level. And remember, or this is very important, maybe Shift will talk about it now, that the students will come up with this understanding. We will not show them the understanding or write it on the board from the very beginning of the lesson. Okay, let's have another example, then see the strategies of developing this thinking. And now, if you teach language arts, all types of arts, all languages, we will use the structure of process, because those subjects need or depend on process, strategies, and skills. For example, if you teach music and the title is Pattern of Music, instead of teaching students the process of or reading the notes or the process, we focus on the process of composition. And we draw the concepts from the process, like composers, series, musical notes, melody, and we put the concept in a statement of relationship. Composers, so we say students understand that composers arrange a series of musical notes to create a pleasing melody. Do you see how this understanding is transferable for students and they can apply it to different contexts and different situations? Another example for the structure, if you teach also another subject related to process strategies or skills like art, if the title of the unit is landscape drawing, so most teachers teach students the drawing itself, but they don't tell them the concepts behind this drawing. So the drawing is the process. We draw the concepts from this process. We say shape, depth, object, distance, illusion, vanishing point, and we put them in a statement of relationship. Some of them you might take one, two, more than one. It's basically two or three, and you put them in a statement of relationship to show the meaning of those concepts in a statement and the relationship between them. We say the student understand that connecting two or more points on a shape or object to vanishing point creates the illusion of distance or depth. You see how we teach the students the skills and strategies and the process through concepts, the statement of understanding. So when we always in our curriculum, when we say think of, we say know, a student know, we talk about factual knowledge. That's locked in time, place, and situation. When we say understand, we're talking about conceptual understanding that transfer through time across cultures and across situations. Okay, so we'll never say student understand the development of the Egyptian civilization, for example, because this is basically knowledge. So understanding happens only in the conceptual level. Okay. Uh, Now, we know that when you prepare the curriculum, whether you are an IB educator or non-IB educator, you have this generalization or understanding for the whole unit. The question is, how many conceptual understanding we expect to have in a concept-based curriculum? Is it one or more than conceptual understanding? So shall we have like one big understanding or generalization or statement of inquiry, regardless of what you're going to name it? Is it one for the whole unit or more than one? If you can just write one or more in the chat box. Do we aim to have one understanding for the whole unit or more than one? So actually we need to have from 5 to 9 conceptual understanding in a concept inquiry unit. And maybe this is a shift for many of you, whether you are an IB educator or not. We used to have the big understanding at the very beginning of the unit, and we follow all the lessons related. But actually, the shift is that we need to have 5 to 9 conceptual understanding. And think of it, if the unit lasts for 6 weeks, for example, so we need to have 5 to 9 understanding. You can divide your unit into whatever chapters, lessons, and in each lesson, you need to have an understanding with new concepts. You create this understanding or generalization and let students reach it as you teach. But how we can do this? Okay. This happens through the inductive teaching. Many of us, or most of teachers, used to have the understanding or the big idea on the board. Then they develop the understanding. Let students give them examples. Or you can put the law, for example, let's say a Newton law in science. But this is an understanding as well. You put it on the board and let the student develop it, see examples, examine it to prove this understanding. But this is a deductive method of teaching. What we want in a conceptual understanding is that don't show the statement of inquiry or generalization or the big understanding, don't write it on the board or show it to students. You need to put the objectives like guiding questions to your students. We'll see examples now, and let them develop the idea with concepts to reach the big understanding. This is what's known as inductive method of teaching. Because in the inductive teaching, you give the students the opportunity to construct and write the understanding, even if it's a law in math, in science, even if it is an understanding in history, even if it's whatever it is, you don't write it on the board. Even if it's for Arabic, the process of writing, English, whatever. So don't write it on the board. Develop the thinking of students by having questions, and the questions should vary as we will see them now. Okay, so use the inductive teaching method because it will help them to develop the understanding. And this is an example we have in scenario A and scenario B. If you have a look at the two scenarios as a teacher, scenario A, this is science, the lesson is about motion. In scenario B, the lesson is mathematics, it's about triangles. In scenario A, the teacher begins by explaining the principle of friction and how friction affects motion. Okay. Students then conduct experiments with different surfaces to apply the principle and predict how objects will move. So most of teachers do this. We write this today. This is the law of gravity we're going to teach. So we'll do the experiments of gravity, and then we'll ask students, we'll let them experiment or work on assignments. But by doing this, we deprive students from the thinking process, and we're not teaching conceptually. Okay? In the scenario B, as you see, the students are given different types of triangles and asked to measure all the three angles. They compare their results, look for pattern, and notice that the angles consistently add up to 180 degrees. By doing this, you will help students reach the understanding towards the end. But we are aware that reaching the understanding or the law might not be easy for students. Okay. So how can we do this? What will help you develop the conceptual understanding is the guiding question you will give to students that we will talk about them now. But before doing this, I'd like to see if we can differentiate between concepts and topics. You have two words here. In the chat box, if you can write culture and European Union, which one is a concept, which one is a topic, and how can we differentiate between concept and a topic? Culture is what? Culture is a concept. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, true. European Union, yes. Yes. How can we tell if it's a culture, sorry, it's a topic or a concept? Always check it against this criteria. Concepts are timeless, universal, abstract to different degrees, represented in one or two words. So culture is timeless, universal. It can be applicable in different disciplines. It can travel across culture and different situations. While European Union is locked in time, place, and situation. So it's a topic. So you don't have a limited number. It's basically you don't have limited number of concepts that you can have in your lesson if they are timeless, abstract, and universal. Even for IB, the IB now tends to change towards having more concepts than the one mentioned in the guide. If you're an IB teacher educator, so you can have more concepts that you can come up with your team, with your head of department, with a level teacher about what concepts we might develop. And it's very important to remember the concepts should suit the age of the students. Even when you create the understanding, it should be age appropriate. Otherwise, the students will not gain any new thing if you repeat the same concepts with the same understanding. Concepts come in different sizes and shapes, and they are macro or micro. It depends. So, for example, if your subject is geography, there is a macro concept, macro like region. Region can be in history as well. So, macro concepts like system, change, order, they can transcend across disciplines. But there is micro concepts you need to add to your subject, and they are very specific. They add depth to your subject. Like, for example, if the macro concept is a region, the micro concept is physical environment, location, growth rate, cultural landscape, topography. And in measurement, in math, of course, macro concept is measurement. Measurement is very a broad concept, can be in physics also, it can be in science. But to make it micro concept more specific, it's unit of measure, standard unit, conversion, estimation, and so on. And this is what's known in IB as key concepts and related concepts. Okay? So you put them in a statement of relationship. How can we develop the conceptual thinking of students? By having different type of questions. So please avoid having factual concepts only, questions. We're talking about questions, with different types of questions. We have concept formation questions, factual, conceptual, and debatable. Debatable, you can have like one debatable question for the whole unit. But when you start a lesson, you can have different type of questions, as we will see now. And you develop the lesson and help students reach the understanding. For example, in a science subject, if the understanding you create or you have for the lesson is that one, the change in an object's motion depends on the sum of the forces on the object and the mass of the object. If this is the generalization or the statement of inquiry or the big understanding you want students or to learn from the lesson. So you prepare some questions. Those questions should vary between concept formation. You might ask about the concept meaning. What is culture? What is mass? What is motion? Maybe this is a new concept you introduces to students. So we call it concept formation question. You start with it maybe. And then you start asking, you provide students maybe with an experiment or picture or video or article or whatever you want to develop the lesson, and start providing them with a question. They are factual about the experiment. When you put the word the or the letter the article, sorry, it means that it is limited to this object. Those are factual questions. What is the mass of the object you see in front of you? What is motion did you observe? What forces were acting in the object? Were the forces balanced or unbalanced? Explain your answer. All of those are factual questions. And then we'll come to the conceptual question we have. What changes the motion in an object? So you will let them, after having all those facts and information and experiment, let them come up with an understanding. The answer of the conceptual question is the generalization you have here. But don't show it on the board. Let the students come up with it. And of course, some students might struggle. Do not expect students to come up with the same generalization or understanding exactly. So that's why you can help them by, for example, fill in the blanks, especially for early age. You can help them by removing the concepts and tell them to complete the sentence. You can tell them, give them like a box with key concepts and tell them to find the relationship between them in a statement of understanding. Okay, so this is how they come up to the understanding towards the end of the lesson. So this is the inductive method of teaching. And then when you assess the students, you don't assess them only by asking the factual question. There should be a question, and this is very important to assess their understanding, which is the conceptual understanding they reached. So, the synergistic thinking leads to the integration of thinking. According to Lynn Erickson, to develop the intellect and increase motivation for learning, curriculum and instruction must create a synergy between lower and higher, which is the conceptual level of thinking. According to Lynn Erickson, the integration of thinking and the motivation for learning will never happen if we'll teach factual information only. The factual information should be used for students to be connected to understand the conceptual level, the higher level. Only then students understand the meaning of learning. And you will never hear the question why we are learning about the Egyptian civilization, how this would benefit me. But if you will connect it or use the Egyptian civilization information or the science information we give to them to understand higher level of thinking, which is the concepts and the statement of understanding. So motivation makes meaning to them and students become more motivated to learn. And not only this, they can see pattern, they can connect it to different discipline, they can connect it to life. And always when you assess where do you see this in life? Okay, we're talking about friction. You give them different or completely different situation and ask them to apply what they learn about motion and in different situation. So this is, we can say by doing this that learning happen to students. So another thing is when we teach to the level of concepts and generalizations, we are teaching for the deep understanding and transfer. And this is the answer for the missing piece, which is the title of our session today. That if the missing piece is teaching conceptually, if we want students to transfer, we want them to be lifelong learners, we need to teach the level of concepts. Okay, so what the change you need to have with you when you start your class as a teacher? You need to think differently from what content do I need to cover to what do I want students to understand. Yes, content is important. Yes, facts are important, but they form the foundation for learning higher level, which is the conceptual understanding. Now, the CBC concept-based curriculum and instructions is a journey. It's not a switch. We cannot say that the curriculum, the unit plans can be switched in a day to be all conceptual. It's a journey that we need to start gradually through the mindset of the school. We need to have this agreement with the leadership management to start teaching conceptually and to have this shift in curriculum, in unit plans, in the teaching method, in the assessment process. Because assessment also is important. We do not assess for only the knowing and the knowledge. We assess the understanding. Okay. If we want to know more about and explore the concept-based learning further, we can refer to those books of course, Lynn Erickson and Louise Lanning, and also those books, Concept-Based Inquiry in Action and for Literacy Lessons. Also, you can join us in workshops, 1 day workshop or 2 days workshop for the whole school. That you can contact me or contact Teach Ocean to organize a workshop for the whole school. And why do you need it? You need it because you will explore lots of things. Actually, what I covered today is a brief, like just giving you an insight of the whole thing. But in the workshop, you will dive deeply into concepts, concepts and their role in learning, and how to connect them with the content and the skills, how you can develop the generalization and understanding, how can you create appropriate understanding and statement of inquiry for your students, how can you create inquiry questions that develop the lessons. how can you teach inductively, and how can you design learning experience to support the students. So is CBCI workshop relevant to you? If you want, it's yes, for all classroom teachers, coordinators, heads of department, curriculum leaders, whether you are an IB or non-IB school, regardless of the program the school implement. So yes, concept-based curriculum instructions is for you, and it is both in, I can present it in Arabic and English, and in both languages, depending on the requirement of the school. And it's for all levels, primary, middle, and secondary educators. Your feedback matters. We are running towards the end of our session. Please scan the QR code to have your feedback. That I hope the session was beneficial to you, and at least it gave you an insight about the next step you need to have in your career and as an educator, which is having the shift toward the concept-based curriculum and instruction. You can write us in this questionnaire if you need the what workshops you are interested in. If you're interested in one-day workshop, if you need two-day workshop about concept-based, if the school need it, if you are a leader, you want to organize this for your school. So this is you can just write your information here. And you can contact me. Please follow me on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn account, and this is my email. If you have any specific question, I'm ready to answer or help you in anything you want. And I will leave the how many minutes are left? Almost like 15 minutes. If you have any question, you can ask. Radwa, I don't know if the audience can turn on the mic and ask any question they need. And please tell me if this session was beneficial to you, or at least gave you a hint or an insight about the significance of concept-based learning and teaching. So feel free to ask any question.
وانا كمان حطيت كل اللينك بتاعت الشركة انستجرام ولينكد ان وفيسبوك والويب سايت بتاعنا. feel free you ask any question. وهحط كمان رقم موبايلي لو حد حابب يسأل على اي حاجة انا معاك.
Yes, so if you have any question.
ممكن لو نفتح الكاميرا ناخد صورة كده مع دكتور خلود.
If you'd like to, if you can turn on your cameras. So just please write down on the chat if this was helpful to you and beneficial. And if you have any question, Radwa, if you can help me in any question, can the audience, do they have the option to turn on the mic and ask if they want? Thank you. I like your feedback. Thank you so much. And I'm reading your questions. My contact info is, I'm going to, second, 1 second. Yes. This is my contact info if you have any question. And please
Yes.
contact me also through Teach Ojen, through in the questionnaire. If you can just tell us so we can organize a workshop for you through Teach Ojen. And again, the QR code, I hope that the QR code here, please scan it and give us your feedback. And please, in the questionnaire, you can write if you need any workshops.
السيرتيفيكيت والريكورد هيتبعتوا لحضراتكم على الايميل، والسيرتيفيكيت هيتكتب فيها الاسم اللي هنكتبه ان شاء الله في الفيدباك فورم. فيا ريت نتاكد ان احنا كلنا هنملى الفيدباك. الكيو ار كود اهو.
Yeah, so please send your so the certificates, Radwa, you said will be sent to those who will fill the feedback.
Yes.
Yes. So please just fill it. Make sure that your name is written correctly, so the certificate will be sent to your email. I'm sorry, someone's saying He joined late because based in USA. I'm so sorry for this. Uh, I cannot scan the QR code, Radwa. Some people are joining from their phone, so they cannot scan the
Okay.
QR code.
Can you
Can
send the link of feedback on chat group
so
chat.
you will send the link, Radwa?
حضرتك مس خلود ممكن تبعتيه.
Yeah, I will try to send it. Someone's saying that the QR code is not working.
اللينك already اتبعت على الجروب اهو.
Yes, thank you. So try to access it from the link, please. Ahmad, you're asking about if I want to tell you more about the IB system and how do, as a teacher, apply conceptual teaching. Of course, the IB system basically is built on the conceptual teaching and learning. And we know as IB teacher, if you teach the MYP, DP, or PYP level, you need to create the big understanding and the statement for inquiry. So you need with a team to plan for, instead of having one conceptual understanding in a unit, you need to have more than one, of course, and plan the concepts throughout the unit, as we said. Of course, if you need a workshop, we can offer you to help you more and to show you how you can develop this understanding. I know that the time is so limited, it needs like 2 days workshop to dive deeply into the process of constructing a unit plan conceptually. Any other questions? I hope the session was beneficial to all of you.